Shall I compare thee by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his whole gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. A first thing to note is that this is a Shakespearean sonnet, so it consists of 3 quatrains and 1 rhyming couplet. I recommend you look at the other side of the poem, as it has a bit about William Shakespeare, specifically about this poem. So I will just read to you what it says. Shall I compare thee has a similar theme to many of Shakespeare's sonnets, the cruelty of time and how, in a sense, his words can defeat time by lasting far longer than the person who inspired him. The truth in this idea is proven by their continuing popularity. So this gives a perfect explanation of the poem in its basic form. The poem is about how summer is gonna change, that summer will not last forever, but the person he is addressing will. In this poem, the person he is addressing will always live on. So he begins with the question, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? It engages the reader immediately, and by using the word thee, it's very informal and intimate. He immediately starts complimenting her and saying that she is more lovely and more temperate than summer. And summer being sort of the most renowned season for being the nicest, the warmest, it's sort of the happiest time of the year. And the fact that this is the season that he chooses to compare her to is very powerful, because imagine if you chose to compare her to winter. It will be a much different feeling and a much different message, I would think. He says, rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. So the first part is indicating that he's comparing her to summer, and that summer is ruining this sort of blossom, this darling bud of May. This produce of May is this sort of cute little, it's the personification of the blossom as being darling. It's very cute and sort of, it's innocent. And the fact that the rough winds shake it means it's just being, the loveliness is being ruined. Summer's lease has all too short a day just means that summer ends. So we associate the summer with the heat and the sun and just warmth. And he's saying here that sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. So despite the fact that we like warmth, sometimes it's just way too hot in the summer. So despite this wonderful season, it's too hot. And then the second line indicates that his gold complexion dimmed. Oh, firstly, the eye of heaven shines. He's suggesting that the eye of heaven is the sun, which is a personification. Now, the often his gold complexion dimmed is indicating that even if the sun is out and nice and it's a beautiful day, there are still those pesky clouds in the way. So even then, summer is not perfect because the clouds are in the way. And every fair from fair sometimes declines. So he's saying fair is sort of a synonym for beauty. And he's saying that everything beautiful in the end becomes ugly, basically. He's saying because like all the bloomed flowers in summer, everything, like the green and the beauty, it fades. This is reinforced by saying by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. So he's saying that you just can't change nature. It's gonna happen. The loveliness is gonna go away. Next, after the 2 quatrains, the 3rd quatrain begins with this turning point. He suddenly just addresses the person he is talking to and says, but thy eternal summer shall not fade. So at the beginning he's been saying how summer will always fade, there are problems, it's never perfect, despite having warmth and despite being like the best season of the year, it's gonna go away. But he's saying that her summer, she is not going to fade. Her beauty is never going to fade. So this is a very powerful and direct thing to say. Nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So basically he's making it seem as if she is superior to summer, and it's quite grand to say that someone is superior to a season, superior to nature. And the nor shall death brag thou wanderest in thy shade. So death will never take her. And despite the fact that, next he says, the eternal lines to time thou growest. So he's saying that she will become old, she will get wrinkles, and in the end he knows that she will die, but by using this hyperbolic statement, he's saying that this poem will make her not die. She won't die because she lives on in this poem. She lives on as this youthful, wonderful creature in this poem. He ends with his rhyming couplet in a very declarative manner. He says, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to this. He's saying as long as people can breathe and as long as eyes can see, she will live on. And he's saying, so long lives thee, and this gives life to thee. That's basically the whole sonnet summed up. It's one of his most famous sonnets, and I would say that because a lot of the poems are quite big. I mean, there's a lot to say, and you're in danger of just waffling and not getting straight to the point, whilst this poem is quite short and has some very good points. Just as long as the question is relevant, I would recommend to reference this poem, because it's short and sweet and you can just get straight to the point. Remember to comment, and I'll see you next time.